surface area of a cone with a radius of r and a slant height of s is given by the following formula. And we're told that the surface area is 300 and the slant height is 15. What is the radius? So you've done questions like this before where you plug in what you know. So for the surface area, we can plug in 300. For the slant height, we can plug in 15. And then there's only one thing that we don't know. However, you were never asked to solve a question like this in grade 10 or grade 9 because what you don't know has an r squared in it and an r. This is definitely a quadratic equation. How do we solve quadratic equations? We make one side equal to 0. So I'm going to move the 300 over, and I'm going to write it with the r squared first, 15 pi times r second, and move the 300 over. In front of my r squared is a pi. In front of my r is a 15 pi, and the number by itself is a 300. So now, do I want to factor? Probably not. Do I want to complete the square with all of those pi's? Probably not. This is a great example of where your formula is going to win. So our formula says, normally it's on your formula sheet, it says x equals, but we have r squared, so we would write r equals negative b plus or minus square root of, I forgot the pi with b. So the b is the 15 and the pi. b, put that in brackets, squared, minus 4 times a, and a was pi, times c, which is negative 300, all over 2 times a. So I'm going to go to my calculator and type this in. Even though you have lots of numbers here, you can type this in nicely into your calculator all at once. If you have the newer version, I would suggest going to the fraction button, which you can do by doing alpha y equals, and we're going to type this in. I'm going to slide this up so we can see my equation there. So I've got negative 15 pi. And I'm going to have to type this in twice, once with the plus sign. So I'll do the plus sign first. Square root of bracket 15 pi bracket squared minus, well, I guess I'll just do it exactly like I see it. Sometimes you can just be as lazy as you like. Right? I was tempted to do the minus and put a plus and do a little bit of mental math, but we can get away with doing no mental math whatsoever if you want. Make sure when you're typing the subtract sign, you're using the subtract sign, and with the negative sign, right beside the enter is the negative sign. All over 2 times pi. Okay? If you don't have a calculator that lets you do the fraction button, you will probably need an extra set of brackets on the top and an extra set of brackets on the bottom, just to make sure that you group the top together and you group the bottom together. So at this point, I can push enter, and I get 4.81. Rounded becomes 4.82. R is equal to 4.82. That's my one answer. And for my second answer, and this is where the calculator is really nice, if you have a graphing calculator, you can go second enter, and above enter in blue it says entry. That retypes what you just typed in, which is really nice because I want to do this exact same equation. The only thing different is I want to change that plus sign to a subtract sign. And that seems like a lot quicker than retyping the whole thing in again. So now I push enter, and this time I get an R of negative 19.82. So we have two answers, but because this is a real life word problem that represents something, can you have a cone with a negative radius? Absolutely not. So the only answer is the 4.82. And trust me, we did not want to do this with completing the square, and factoring would not even begin to come close to working. So the formula is really nice in this situation. Okay, so questions you can practice till the end of class. 14, 15, and 16.